permeates like a blood orchid, bursting with the smell of wet caliche through my open bedroom window. One lamp is lit, the color of dust. Curled like a fist around my cigarette, I am stuck in the knuckle of my thoughts. Late nights like this urge me to push out a poem. A fat candle burns at 3 wicks, the scent of midnight pomegranate. It is anything but red in here. In my cotton panties, I sit and sweat into the pillow, hair wet down my backbone, slick as a knife. Motionless still, I do not pick up my pen. Instead, I pinch out the memory of one afternoon I kicked ball with the boys. Before the blood came, my scissor legs were as ashy as the rest, my scabs half-eaten. Our eager yells bounced from the black top into the warm baked air, and the trees splintered the sunlight like long fingers against my sweaty forehead. Inside the darkness of our house, my father sits. A television blinks like a blue cyclops and pours static into his ear. He is a chunk of meat frozen to his chair, and Mama is somewhere else. I kicked that ball all day long, as if it were the last time I'd ever kick a ball. Arms cinnamon dark, body fast, stealth, slipping in and around the grasp of all them boys. And when the sun boiled its last cough over our neighborhood, the street lamps burst like marigolds, brilliant, bright light against a gray canopy. Daddy hollered at me, "Hey, come in, stop messing with all them boys." And the screen door slammed behind me like a swat across my bottom before the blood came, and there were pomegranates in my dream. A fist-shaped bruise beneath my left eye, a bowl full of stars, a gift from Daddy, while I slept in my bed. Mama offered up her finest eyeshadow, so both sides of my face would match. "Ain't you pretty," Mama said. "Ain't you?" But no, I never wrote that poem. See, some poems are best left to rattle inside the head, like the time she burst from me as a seed does. With a pair of wilted flowers for hands, I held her, and as the blood still ran down my thighs in shooting star color, I wondered if all mothers are meant to be martyrs, like the time I broke all the glassware in the house. Bits of porcelain clung to his hair like snow. The night I ran her daddy off, I swear to you. All those razor blades winked at me from the lopsided face of my medicine cabinet, always messing with them boys. Pushing the tongue against the teeth, running my fingers across a 3-wick flame, always never writing down my poetry. Like this one, like Mama's laundry, like clean white linen, like the idea of love. It was at 6:15 a.m. when the hospital still slept, save for the squeaking shoes of the white-heeled nurses, the chalk-white mistresses of those halls. Dawn had scraped its underbelly across the sky, cracked the air open like an egg, the yolk of the sun tinged blood-spattered pink. You were dying all night. I gasped and you gasped the hours away, but in the end it was you dead, and me still alive and staring. I watched your silver hair yellow and the nuances of your skin decay in that instant of death. Watched your 5-fingered flower of a hand, how it had closed and clenched. Closed and clenched. Your passing was not unexpected. You were old, and it was your time. At 6:22 a.m., the first fleet of doctors and nurses entered the room with the usual quiet that is the hearse that accompanies death. At 6:23 a.m., they flipped the bleeping switches. At 6:24 a.m., they slipped the needles from your closed veins. By 6:30, they led me through the door, and I found myself alone. I held on to my handbag as if it were an anchor, an old woman busy with her sadness. It was then that I remembered your navy blue bathing suit. Your waist was so slender, and the water had slipped from your waistline. That day, your hair smelled of salt and sea and the distinct perfection that was you. It was 1943, and I was 19 years, 11 months, and 25 days shy of my 20th birthday. You always laughed and said you were 6 years my senior and long in the tooth. But we both knew that it was not our age difference that forced us to keep a comfortable distance in public, to hide our entwined fingers beneath the beach blanket, sand pebbles sleeping between our compressed palms. It was the sameness of our silhouette, our mouths that fed each other the language of bleeding, our shared cosmetics, the secret of the pubis and all the mysteries unlocked when rubbed together. It was the way we combed each other's hair, washed our feet, me taking hold of your delicate ankle and with a wet cloth swabbing your impeccable row of toes. I held the arch of your foot up against the light like a fine glass of wine. We were roommates. We were childless spinsters. We were condemned by God. And then we passed into something else uncharted, something else to be regarded, tongue-lashed and branded dykes by our neighbors. We held fast for 68 years, undefinable. Two Helens who had abandoned their Troy, left the men to squabble over their petty wars. And now, at 7 o'clock on a Tuesday morning, the world awakens to sip at their mugs of strong coffee. The men wrangle their necks with ties. The women screw on their faces. We were not quite unrequited love, only unacknowledged. The word wives, a foreign pebble on the world's tongue. You have been 15 minutes dead. And the doctors surround me with your clipboards and questions and paperwork. Are you kin? They ask. Sisterhood, are you kin? Yes, I say. One last truthful lie, my pet. Yes, you're kin.